Good afternoon, and welcome to our first movie about our farm, Solitude Springs Farm, here just outside of Fairbanks, Alaska. Today we'll be taking you on a winter tour of a few parts of our farm and show you how we protect things in the winter. See you at the bramblery in just a minute. Today is January 24th. Currently the temperature is minus 13 Fahrenheit, minus 22 Celsius, and we have about 15 inches of snow on the ground, which is roughly 7 inches less than we usually have this time of year. We're looking right now over the blackberry patch. There's about probably 25 or 30 blackberries underneath the snow, and most of them are in the snow. We have one right here that is a tayberry that didn't droop like it should have, and so it's still above the snow cover, and so it'll probably die off above that. Right next to it, you can't see anything, but there's actually another tayberry there that actually flattened out very nicely this year, and it's completely covered under the snow. Over here we have, back in the corner there's a leany hardy that's looked like it got damaged by the moose, but it at these temperatures will survive almost to the tips without any damage. Just below it on the hill there's several buried trailing blackberries, including my wild treasure and black diamond. Both those have a thick floating row cover over them below the snow, so that helped protect them early on when there wasn't any snow cover. We finally got snow cover this year in mid to late November, which is about 6 weeks later than we usually have snow cover to start off with. And then we have, the rest of them you can't see. But anyway, there's about 15 inches of snow in there covering up the blackberries, and we'll see how well they do over this winter. This is really our first real cold snap of the year, and we're expecting temperatures someplace probably minus 25 to minus 30 for a low by Monday sometime. So anyway, we'll move over to the raspberries next. Okay, here we are at the raspberry patch. Mostly it's just the little twigs that are snow covered sticking up out of the ground right now. And you may be able to make out just above my shadow, there's a moose track across there. Probably been browsing on a few of them someplace, but most of these are zone 4 to zone 6, and very few actually survive above the snow line. But like I said, we usually have almost 24 inches of snow on the ground when the coldest weather hits, and so most of them are protected. But this year, not so much. Off to the left there, you see the red. That's the other end of the blackberry patch, and we'll go up and see if we can get a shot of the clearing that we made this year, where hopefully next year we can start planting our peonies and other trees and shrubs that we have. Here's a shot looking sort of to the southwest of the clearing that we made this last year. Got my neighbor in here, and he ran his bulldozer, pushed the trees out of the way. Well, actually, they were already cut down. Most of those trees are birch. And interesting thing up here is that since the ground is so cold, that their roots don't go down much more than about 1.5 feet or maybe 2 feet at the most. So they're very shallow rooted trees, and that makes for fairly quick clearing since you're not pulling taproots out of the ground. In the center of the picture, just off to the left, there is an actual clearing all the way down to the bottom road, which we haven't removed all the trees so that you can see that well, but that's going to be down where the grapevines are going to be put next year under hoop houses. And closer up to where I'm standing, that's all going to be put into peonies and some plants that we've accumulated actually, that we're going to put in an exhibition garden, and which will be named after and dedicated to Geneva Purnell, which was the first person actually that sold me peonies for my farm. So Really excited to get that dedicated one of these days. Have been trying to do it for 3 years, but since we haven't been able to get the lot cleared until now, and more into this next summer, we just haven't been able to dedicate the entire thing yet. So I will walk down to the grape house and show you what it looks like in the winter, and hopefully see a few more moose tracks. Well, maybe not hopefully, because they eat everything, but anyway. Okay, we're down at the grape house now. As you can see, we've removed the plastic. It would just collapse under the weight of the snow. And this is one end here. We made a small doorway sort of on both ends, as you can see there. And this year we played with keeping both doors open, and we found that the air just moved too quickly through, and so they didn't do as well this year as they did in the years where we kept one end closed. However, keeping one end closed tends to make it like a balloon, and the plastic tears off in the strong winds that we have occasionally in the summer, reaching 40 miles an hour this last year on 3 separate occasions. So anyway, looking down here, actually right down the center of the screen there, you can't see it, but there's under that 15 inches of snow are probably 40 or 45 grapes in pots, and probably another 25, I think, blackberries in pots that we buried. This has been a fairly successful way of overwintering grapes. One year we tried leaving them out and they just didn't survive. So if we cover them with plastic and then straw and then allow the snow to fall on top, they seem to do pretty well. And underneath, in the very middle there is a remote thermometer that we just changed the batteries in last weekend, and right now below the 15 inches of snow and under the straw and the plastic, it's reading about 24 degrees today, and like I said, it's minus 15 outside, so much warmer underneath there, and that's the grapes really like that. This summer we found out also that they found a trick to helping Valiant harden off for the fall. In the past, it's been sitting outside and without the plastic cover on it, and it generally ends up freezing back completely with the first frost with no wood hardened off at all. This year, even though it was a very cold and rainy summer, we did have a few warm days, and it got close to about 95 degrees Fahrenheit inside the hoop house, and by the early September it had hardened off about half the 3-foot long canes, so about 18 inches off those 3 feet were hardened off, and by the end of September it had dropped all its leaves before the first frost. The first hard frost we actually had one in late August here, which is unusual, but the first hard frost in the 24th, I think, of September, the leaves were all gone, and so we're really hopeful that variety is going to at least grow up here. So far we haven't had a whole lot of luck with the grapes. We did get a few Senecas off this year that started to resemble grapes, if you can call them that. They were still a little bit crunchy. Having grown up in Fresno and being surrounded by grapes down there, I know what real ones taste like and what they look like. So these aren't quite there yet, but we're working on it. And right now I'm just showing you some of the trees covered in the snow and hoarfrost that we've gotten in the last several days. We only got a few inches here, but just east of town they got dumped on. So it's a nice pretty picture. And then I'll pan down to our cutting, the area that we cleared all the way down to the bottom road. And this actually, in a good day when it's not so hazy, allows us to see the Alaska range. In fact, if I pan it this way, going back up to the top of where we cleared, so I'm looking right now in the center of the picture is where I was standing looking back down over the clearing. We have people that stop. They run snow dog mushing tours through here on the road above my property, and they'll stop in that opening right there and take some pictures because you can see Denali from there, and it's about 160 miles away, so it takes a pretty clear day to see it, but it is out fairly frequently. So right now we'll go ahead and walk back up inside and put this on YouTube, a quick picture of the front of my house with some of the 12 solar panels that are currently charging my batteries. and provide about 90 to 95% of our electricity here on the farm, since we're not connected to the grid. And now, to wrap up the video, those of you who have been keeping up with us on our blog know that we have 2 dogs here on the farm. This is Duke. He likes to stay outside even though it's a bit chilly. Chica, she's more of a house pet. Chica, stand back. No, she's gonna walk with me. There she goes. All right, Cheeks. Look at the camera, Cheeks. Hey, there you go. So anyway, this is the end of our first video. We hope to get another one out this summer. I just found out today that the camera I have actually takes videos with audio, so we'll probably be doing a few more as the seasons go along, and hope you enjoy.